Please don't walk away from me. Let me explain one more time. I can't come back here. Look at all of these children. My brothers have had to move in because the crop has failed again. Mother, Josiah is crying right now. Mother, please. He's hungry. I can't come back here and take food out of these children's mouth. Oh, sure, it would be much easier for me. But, who wants to become one? There it is, prostitute. Who would ever want to become a prostitute? Anyone in their right mind. But Mother, listen to why I have to do this. Number one, let me explain one more time. Rahab is dead. My beloved husband, Rahab, is dead. And while he was dying, I promised that I would save the end, and I don't know what else to do. Mother, you always taught me to keep a promise. The taxes have doubled. My servants have gone to the new inn over on the west wall. They've stolen from me, and the taxes are due, and I don't have any money. Oh, what will the neighbors think of you? Well, what will the neighbors think of me? And what will the gods think? Oh, well, it was the gods who gave me the idea today. I went to the temple knowing I had going to lose the end, and I cried out, Baal, help me, please. Help me. Shemish, where are you? Ashtoreth, the holy prostitutes of the temple. If it's not all right for them, why wouldn't it be all right for me? Oh, it won't be a prostitute, mother of the streets. It will be just at the end to the highest bidder, please. I've tried to explain. Mother, I did not come for your permission. I was hoping for your blessing. And with that, my mother slapped me up the side of the face and then slapped me again, almost knocking me to the floor. Mother, I said, you have never hit me before. And she said, no, neither have I ever had a daughter for a prostitute either. Be gone with you before your father gets back and you break his heart. Running through the dirty, crooked streets of Jericho, back to the inn on the wall, laying across my bed, convulsing. My face still stinging, but my heart stinging more. When I could cry no more, I walked out into the roof, and still sniffing, I could smell the orange blossoms from the beautiful oasis of Jericho. What had brought me to this place? Just 3 short years before, my father had come home from the marketplace, and I heard him say in whispered tones to my mother, has Rahab reached the flower of her age? And my mother excitedly said, yes, she has. Do you have an offer? And my father said, yes, it's quite a handsome offer. Well, who is it? My mother said. Oh, it's quite handsome, he said. In fact, if the flax crop fails, it will keep us even for 2 years. Well, who is it? My mother said. Oh, it's quite handsome. You've said that 3 times. Who is it? And then in hushed tone he said, Rahab. Rahab, she shouted. That old goat that lives on the inn, he's already had 3 wives. He's an old man. But he's seen our Rahab, and well, of course he wants her. He wants someone to scrub his floors and to wash his dishes and to make his bed at the inn. Of course he wants her. But I've already give it back. You know I can't do that. Oh, no, 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 not Elab, my mother said. But the bargain has already been made, my father said, and he walked away. All my mother could do was cry. Now, I knew from the time I was a little girl that I would be given to a man as soon as someone made an offer. And why was my mother crying? And then she said, you'll never see the likes of his bed. All he wants is a servant. He wants someone to mop his floors and make his bed, wash his dishes at the inn. But the next day, a beautiful white dress was delivered to our humble little cottage. It was encrusted with pearls. I had never seen anything so lovely in all of my life. And I tried it on, and it did fit. And the following day, a nervous little 13-year-old was taken to the inn on the wall, and I became the wife of the innkeeper by the name of Elab. Now, my mother needn't have worried about scrubbing floors and making beds and washing dishes. In fact, I was given a personal maid to wait on my very needs. Now, I did work hard. You see, it was my responsibility in the evening to pour the wine. And oh, all the traders and the merchants that had come from afar to stay at the inn that night, they talked about a new God, a God that I'd never heard of. They said this God lived in the heavens and that his name was Jehovah, and that he was the supreme God above all gods. And then they said this God had a people, and that his people had been in Egypt as slaves for over 400 years. But this God heard their cries, and that he had appointed a leader by the name of Moses. Oh, I would pour the wine even so slowly. I had never heard such stories. But that this God said that his people could go to the promised land. And Moses went to the Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said, of course they can't go. They are our slaves. And you know what they said that this Jehovah did? He sent plagues. Plagues not to his people, but to the Egyptian people. There was frogs in everything, frogs in your bed, frogs in your bread, frogs everywhere. And Pharaoh said, take them away and you may go. And that was only the beginning. Each time, then Pharaoh would change his mind. They didn't want to lose all of their slaves. And there was, so many plagues. Even, listen to this, even when they started to pour their water, it turned into blood. That was to his people. Each time Pharaoh said they could go, but each time he would change his mind. And finally, this Jehovah lost his patience. And the last plague was this: the death of the firstborn. That means from the barnyard to the palace. If you were a firstborn, you would have been taken. But he had a stipulation for his own people this time. This time, they were to put an X of blood on their doorpost. So when that night when the death angel passed over, that their house would be spared. Oh, there was never such a cry in all of Egypt when they woke the next morning to find the firstborn all dead. And Pharaoh said, go, go, get out of here, go. And folks, his people weren't just 10, 20, 100, 1,000, millions of people. That this Moses led his people out of Egypt. But then Pharaoh changed his mind. Oh, think how angry. Even the Pharaoh himself, losing a son, and he took all of his chariots and his army to bring these people back and to punish them. By this time, they said, they had their backs the desert. Here came the army and the chariots and the horses, and to their back was nothing but the Red Sea. And you know what this God, they said, did? That he put a shield between the soldiers and his people, and that he actually parted the waters of the Red Sea. And they said this, that they walked across on dry land in the sea, across on dry land. You can imagine how long it took to get millions of people across to the other side. And as soon as they were on the other side, God lifted the screen. And here came the chariots, and they walked right into the trap, because this Jehovah God closed the waters and drowned all of the Egyptian army. Oh, the people, God's people, began to praise God and sing praises on the shore to this Jehovah God. Now, my mother need not have worried either about Elab. Oh, he was a tender teacher to a little 13-year-old. Oh, you see, he would give me beautiful jewelry each day. When a merchant would come with a new piece of jewelry, I got it. He would offer me beautiful clothes for just working and pouring the wine. And he was a gentle teacher to a 13-year-old. In fact, I would snuggle up and sing him a little, "Oh, my Elam, how I love you. You are the love of my life." Now, the only problem we had in our marriage was that Elam would say to me, "You must come down and learn how to run the inn, because I'm an old man and I don't have a brother to marry you, and I am soon going to die." "No, my Elam, how? No. And every day I said, "But I know how to run." Oh, he said, "You have no idea. The only thing you know is where the wine is and how to pour it. You must learn the workings of the inn. It will keep you well." Every morning he would say the same thing, but every morning I would tell him, "I can't come down. Please, just one more day." Finally, one evening, "Tomorrow is the day. I am not going to take any excuses for you. Tomorrow is the day." And he just turned his back. I started to sing, he said, "I don't want to hear your songs. Tomorrow is..." "I thought you liked my song." Now remember, I'm only 13. And I don't know if you women have ever tried this, but I even tried. Didn't do a bit of good. He just kept on snoring. And the next morning, "Up! Today is the day. You've got to learn the workings of the inn." "I can't. Oh, Ethan, please don't make me. I need my beauty rest." And with that, he reached over and pulled the covers up on me and said, "Oh, Rahab, if you were any more beautiful, I don't think I could stand it," and kissed me on the forehead. I had just gotten back to sleep when Nina, my personal maid, came and said, quickly, you must come because Elab's asking for you." He told me I could sleep. No, he's ill. He's asking for you. Oh, I put on a silk robe and down the outer steps, and there on the floor of the inn lay my Elab. I picked him up in my arms. "Oh, please, Rahab, no songs. Will you make me a promise?" "Yes, I'm done." No. "Oh, make me a promise." Yes. What is it that you will keep the inn?" "Yeah, I promise. And then he grew limp in my arms. They had to pry my hands away from him. That very day they washed his body, and he was buried. and a great gloom settled over the inn on the wall. I couldn't get out of bed. Nina would say, "Oh, you've got to come down. They need someone to tell them what about it. You do the best you can, Nina. I can't come down. I can't." And she said, "They're stealing from you. They're taking money that comes in. Nina, just do whatever you can." The next day I still couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. And Nina would say, "Please, you know the new inn that is built over on the western wall? Many of your servants are going over there and taking possessions. You've got to come down. They have to." I don't know what to do. I can't get up. 2 days later, Nina said, "The tax collectors have come. We'll pay them." "There's no money." "No money? I told you your servants are stealing from you." "Rahab," she said, "you are losing the inn." "But I can't lose the inn. I promised Eli I would keep it, but you are losing the inn." It was enough to shock me. I dressed and I went to the temple. "Oh, Baal, help me, I can't lose the inn. Chimage, Ashtor. Oh. I knew what pleasured a man. Eli had taught me to listen to a man's heart, not just his body. Why not? That was the very day I went to my mother's home. This very day, and I was made up my mind. I was going to save the inn. The bidding would begin. First it was very slow, and then my fame began to spread. And was exorbitant prices. Every night the inn was full, and every night I would offer my body to save the inn. By this time I would still pour the wine so very, very slowly. By this time they had said that Moses was dead, and that they had a new leader by the name of Joshua. One night the bidding had just started. And when the bidding had just started, over here someone cried out, "Wine, wine, bring wine over here." And just as I started over with the wine, in the doorway I saw two strange men. And as they were calling in a drunken stupor, "Wine!" I threw the wineskin up against the wall, and it burst, and they were all down, lapping it up as animals. And I ran over to the door, and I said, "Follow me," up the outer steps where I had been drying some flax. And I covered them up, and I said, "Stay here. I will be back. I have obligations, but I will be back. So stay here." Running back down the steps, grabbing a new wineskin, and not any too soon. And the soldiers from the king's army were there. And they said, "Where are the spies?" Now you understand, I've been acting in bed now for a long time. And I said, "Spies? Oh, there were two men here, but they left before the gate closed. And I think if you will hurry, you might be able to catch them." I found out later they chased them all the way to the Jordan River. I couldn't wait till my obligation of the night was over. I got some cheese and wine and bread from the kitchen, and I climbed the steps, uncovered the flax, and I sat on the floor. And I said, "My name is Rahab." And they kept eating ravishly. Finally, I said, "My name is Rahab." And finally, the tall, dark one said, "My name is Solomon, and this is Joab." And then I said, I know you are going to conquer our city. Because we are all in fear. We know the stories of the Red Sea. We know how you conquered Og and Ammon from you. We know all about what you are. And then I said something that really surprised me. I said, I know your God is the God above all gods. Now, I risk my life tonight for you. And when you take our city, will you promise me one thing, that you will spare my life? And not just my life, but the life of all of my family. They said nothing. I said, it's no more than fair. I risked my life. And the tall, dark Solomon said, yes, yes. When the city is captured, make sure, yes, we will spare your life. And my family? Yes, and her family. But they must all be in this inn. Yes. Hurry, I said, eat. And I have been drying and weaving some flax and a scarlet cord. I said, hurry. I took them to the window. I said, you see the mountains over there? You stay there for 3 days, and then you may go back to your camp. And then again, Solomon said, the agreement, we will spare your life and your family life. They must all be here. And this scarlet cord must be in the window. And I said, agreed. I let them down very carefully over the wall. I had to wait till the next morning. I dare not be on the streets, and I ran through the crooked streets that I had not been for 3 years. I burst through the door of my parents' home. I didn't even knock. My mother turned her back on her unholy daughter, and I said, listen to me. Jericho is to be destroyed, and every man, woman, and child is going to die. Now I have a way to escape. You know that I have not believed in our gods for quite some time. But there is a supreme God, and he's going to give this city, and everyone, I repeat, everyone will die. My father said, everyone. I said, everyone. But there is a way of escape if you will come to the inn. You can't stay here. Finally, my knees were knocking, sweat in the palms of my hand, and my father said, we will all be there. I ran quickly back to the inn. I dismissed all my servants, told them to leave immediately. Nina, my maid, wanted to stay with me, and I said I didn't make any provisions for you. I paid them all double. I took off one of my most costly rings and gave it to Nina. Escape, please, today. I could hear the people coming. Of course, I had plenty of room for everyone in the inn. And the next morning, I heard something strange. The blowing of trumpets. I went to the roof to look down. I saw a strange procession. The front guard, 7 priests with trumpets, an oblong box being carried by 4 priests, and then the rear guard. I ran real quickly to see if the cord was in the window. Was this? And then they were gone. Strange. The next morning, the same thing. The blowing of the 7 trumpets and the marching. By this time, the people were in the impregnable walls of Jericho. From the king himself, aha! You think your box will save you? No one can take the city of Jericho. The 3rd day, the same, the trumpet blowing, and yet the marching. Each day I would look to see if the cord was there. By this time, the people on the wall had expected him, and they were throwing rocks and spitting and seeing who could hit that box. Nothing. This happened for 6 days. And then on the 7th day, very early in the morning, I heard one of my nephews awaken, and I went to get him, and I thought, I hear the trumpets again. I took my nephew one arm to see if the cord was there. Of course, by this time, they didn't go back. 2, 3, by noon, my nephew, we were all on the roof, and my nephew had counted 4 times they had gone around. And while we were all looking, I felt something around my waist, and it was my mother. There was no word said, just we fell into each other's arms. We all felt that this was the day. 5, 6. And as I went around the 7th time, the trumpet blowing, and someone placed their hands and said, "Shout!" And all the people shouted. And the impregnable walls of Jericho was like a limp rag doll. They began to sway back and forth, and they began to fall. The only thing standing was the inn on the wall. And a great rumble, and we had to hide the eyes of the children because every man, woman, child, animal was being killed. I run again. Was the cord there? Yes, it was there. I was so nervous. Finally, I heard my name. Rahab. Yes, yes. Are you all here? Yes, we are all here. Come quickly, he said, because this wall will fall very, very soon. Come quickly. Everybody following him. I grabbed one child under my arm with a basket, and again making sure that everyone was out, and we followed this man by the name of Solomon. And we came to a rubble, and I had to stop to breathe. And just then I heard the grinding, and I saw the smoke in the air and a scarlet cord waving in the air. As I caught my breath, the tall, dark one said, "Excuse me." "Yes," I said. He said, "You don't look like a prostitute." I said, "I'm not now." He said, "This morning, Joshua said, don't forget your promise to save Rahab the prostitute and her family." Now, we could not enter the camp of God yet because we had not given our hearts to the camp. But when that tall, dark Solomon walked away, I said to myself, I'm going to marry him. You men don't stand a chance. And you know what? I did. My whole family accepted Jehovah God. And I did marry a man by the name of Solomon. Do any of you know our son's name? Boaz. Boaz came home one day and said, "Mother, I think I'm in love with a heathen woman." I said, "Son, your mother was once that heathen woman also." I don't know what you've done in your life. Maybe you think that what you did was so terrible that God could not possibly forgive you. That's why I'm bearing my heart to you this morning. Because you see, my life was a prostitute. And yet, that prostitute became in the bloodline of your Jesus. I call my story a God of a second chance. You see, You serve a God who can forgive. Whatever it is, prostitute, and yet for the bloodline of the Savior of the world. I hope you will remember my story. Will you pray with me? Father God, we're not good, but we are yours. And Father, I know within the sound of my voice that there are people here who think that you couldn't possibly forgive them for what they have done. Father, I hope that you will burn this morning the story of my life. The story from a prostitute to the bloodline of their Jesus. Father, you are a God not only of one chance, second chance, third chance. And all we can do this morning is bow before you and say, thank you. In the precious name of my God, amen. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red as crimson, they shall be